What up? What up? Mic check, mic check. Mic chickity check, check, chicken China. The Chinese chicken. The Chinese chicken. We're checking in on the Chinese chicken from Chickity China. Am I coming through okay? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know. You gotta let me know. Let me see what I can play here. I'm about to start in just a second here.
Here comes the money.
No, that's not me. That's not really me. Rolling around at the speed of sound? Is that me? All right, I'll play this for a little bit and then I'm gonna get ready to start. Just doing some last minute stuff here. Who knows this song? Who knows it? Who's a real one? Who knows what it's from and what it's called? And even kind of a spoiler, but what character this song is for. Or region, if you will. Who knows what that's from? Oh, let me set it to loop. Let me set it to loop. It doesn't actually loop, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Can I set it to fade out? Is that a thing in this? It didn't fade out. Oh, I didn't save it. I didn't save it. Damn. No, I don't want to share with the community. Oh, hold on. Ooh, what a song. What a powerful song. Yeah. All right, let me stop screwing around. Yo, this is the bass boosted. Jesus. Golly, I'm hearing popping. Hold on. I can't do it. Oh, man. What is going on, guys? What is going on? Philosopher here, and welcome to Where is the Line? This is my live stream where we talk about some important topics. I've had a lot of life stuff going on, so I don't have a bunch of topics. I did have one that I wanted to look into, and I just remembered it. Thank goodness, because I have been thinking about this for a while. And it's funny because the thing that made me forget it is also the thing that helped me remember it in a weird order. Don't worry about it. It's brain, ADHD brain logic. Don't worry about it. But nonetheless, hello, welcome. I'm Tavian, aka the Philosopher. I am a esports consultant and coach by trade. I am the former director of esports arena at Western Michigan University. I have a wide range of weird skills and things, and I have a lot of opinions. And one of those opinions is that MAGA is a threat to humanity as a whole. It's a threat to democracy. It's a threat to our personal safety. But I think in terms of scale, the most relevant one is just they're a threat to the world. I'm not being hyperbolic. I'm not being funny. I'm being deadly serious with it. And it's annoying. It's annoying because I don't want to have to talk about this. I'd rather talk about things that are actually actionable. But for whatever reason, Trump and his administration and his sycophants love to ride the wave of hypocrisy all the way to the polls. And they just, you see case after case after case of people just showing and explaining, not just expressing, but actually explaining and breaking down why what they're doing is wrong does not matter. And so I'm an independent. So before people hop in here, hello, how you doing? I am an independent. I am not a Democrat. One of my biggest, or I guess hottest takes, I don't think it's a hot take personally, but one of my hot takes is that I don't think the two-party system should exist. I think Democrats and Republicans should both be abolished or dissolved. I don't think those parties should exist. And one of the biggest reasons is because I'm tired. Personally, I'm tired, but also I believe that it takes away the power of the Republicans to scapegoat the Democrats on everything that they do. And the Democrats just haven't done their job, so there's no point in having them be there for us to cheer on some sort of B-rate, quote unquote, hero that's not doing their job. So I have criticism for both political parties. However, the Republicans and Trump specifically and his followers are a threat to humanity as a whole. Let me pull up this chat real fast so I can actually see it a little bit larger here. Oh, where is my chat? Oh, I turned it off. Hold on. I can't see my chat. There it is. Okay. I was like, why am I not seeing my chat? Hey, if it's boring for you, then you can just go ahead and leave. There's no reason to express your boredom. You just go. You know? You don't have to actually tell me, but it seems like you want to express yourself. That's fine. And yeah, I will be playing a game at 8 p.m. If you've been watching the stream, I play Resident Evil at 8. At first, I talk about political topics. So if that doesn't tickle your fancy, and if you're bothered by me not playing games, then you can go ahead and get the hell out. Respectfully, of course. But I appreciate you stopping by nonetheless. Nothing personal. You know, people get bored by talking. I understand that. I got ADHD. I get it. I respect it. So I hope you have a rest of your night is great. I'm on a lot of painkillers right now. And so my tolerance for both pain and stupidity is at an all-time low right now. So I'm just going to do my best to keep as level-headed as I can right now. I'm going to be stumbling over words and things. I'm sorry. It's just there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of pills going on there. Not a lot of pills, but there's some medication going on. Should we believe something which is uncertain as certain with the certainty, like religious books or beliefs that the words must surely be the gods? Oof, I don't know if I'm the right person to ask this question to. The first sentence seems a little nonsensical, so I don't know if you're being funny. But I'm going to take you at your word first, and then if you're joking around, then hey, that was funny. I am an atheist, so I just want you to understand that I'm coming from a worldview as a former Christian who I think that the correct term would be atheist agnostic. I'm not making a hard stance, which would be hard atheism, that says that God does not exist. I'm not saying that. I am just saying that I don't think the gods that we know of are... Like, if there is a God, it's not from any of the books that we know of, right? And God could be something incredibly amorphous or intangible for us to comprehend. It could just be the existence as a whole, which means nothing to a lot of people, right? I don't think it comes from a book. I don't think the God of the Bible is the God that actually made this world that we live in, universe. And if he is, I would not worship him. I would acknowledge that he exists. I'd be willing to say, oh yeah, that God exists. You know, he came out. You know, he has a whole book, right? And he's not the only God, but he has a whole book about him and how he interacted with humans for many years, right? Interacting all the time. And then all of a sudden you can't call him or anything. You can't get a burning bush. You can't get a talking donkey. You can't get a talking snake out of nowhere. What? So let me reread your sentence real fast, because I have a couple of videos, but I'd rather talk to the audience a little bit about some of the topics. So if you have questions, feel free to challenge me. I'm looking to debate MAGA people. I'm also looking to debate anybody, or just have a dialogue. We don't have to disagree, or we don't have to debate even if we do disagree. So just understand that. You just say you don't know. What do you mean? Just say I don't know with what? Be careful with what exactly? But I'm gonna pull up my chat real fast. I wanna actually see it, because it goes away. I'm a slow reader, man, and I get distracted really easily. So I just want to have the chat pulled up for myself. Let's see here. I missed one of your messages, man. I'm sorry. Let me go back. I'm gonna pull this over here so I can read this easier. Sorry, man. We should believe something which is, should we believe something which is uncertain as certain with, oh, okay. So again, I don't know if you're joking, but this question is starting to make more sense to me. Should we believe something which is uncertain as certain with the certainty? Okay, no, it's not making sense again. But the religious part. So I will try to give an example that isn't religious, that is what you're talking about or what I think you're talking about, right? So I'm going to use a very heavy example that I don't necessarily, I'm not saying I believe it, I'm just saying it as a concept similar to what you're talking about. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I mean, if I burn in hell for all eternity, that sucks. But if you want to break, are you talking about the Christian Bible? Because you're talking about our Creator, and I'm assuming you're a Christian, right? And I want to share my thoughts on this, but I also don't want to come off disrespectful. But it's hard talking to Christians sometimes about this stuff because it is inherently disrespectful because in the Bible it's called blaspheming, right? So it's like listening to me talk is you breaking a rule if I'm talking crap about your God, if you're a Christian, right? Or other blaspheme rules, religions that have blaspheming rules. So I get that, but I really feel strongly about what I'm saying. And I do think the God of the Bible, the Christian God, is evil if he exists. Like, I'm sorry. I can show you tons of examples. I'm very native, like indigenous. I am part indigenous, but I don't know what tribe. Like, I've heard that I'm Cherokee, but everybody's Cherokee, you know? So I need to get a test for that. But anyway, to go back to what you were saying, Rishi, I don't know if you know what the law of attraction is, but it's basically non-religious belief in something that isn't confirmed, right? So basically it's like, I'm going to manifest a happy life where I'm rich and famous, right? And there is evidence that that mindset can help you steer towards that reality. So I would argue that you're believing in something that isn't certain, right? You don't have certainty that you're going to be rich and famous. And obviously there gets to be more nuance when it comes to narrowing down that goal. Like, I want to be rich and famous for being a speaker and a coach, and I want to travel the world and do this specific thing, right? There is science behind that where you have an irrational belief of something that doesn't have any evidence of it yet. Now, even still, that is still my life, right? I have some control over the outcome of that. Now, if you're saying, oh, I believe that a unicorn is going to drop down from the sky and she sprinkles in the air or something, I don't know. I'm trying to think of the most outlandish thing that'll never happen, right? You have no control over a unicorn popping into existence, let alone what they do. So I, to some degree, believe that there is some power to believing in something that isn't certain, but I don't believe that you should do it outside of your own circumstances. So like believing in a God and things of that nature, I think when it starts to affect your decisions and affect other people, like how you vote, for example, then yeah, it can, I think it gets into the realm of unhealthiness, getting unhealthy. Your ideals feel closer to deistic thoughts. Again, as an agnostic atheist, I'm open to that possibility. It could be something that can be scientifically explained one day, right? Or it could just be nothing. It could just be that things exist as they are. A lot of people have a misunderstanding about the Big Bang. Some people think that the Big Bang is the beginning of existence or time and space. It's the beginning of ours as we know it. But there is no for sure confirmation, let alone it's a theory, but there's no hard stance saying that the universe started at the Big Bang. It's just that what we know and what we can see back to, we can't look back further than the Big Bang, at least not yet. But something had to have started the Big Bang. So there might have been some state that existed before the universe that we're in right now. Like maybe it was a 2D universe or a 1D universe. Who the hell knows? Or 5D, I don't know. Yeah, there is good and evil. We have free will. I mean, yeah, but those definitions are subjective, right? You and I might agree on what we consider good and evil, but I also believe that it is something that's subjective. Even if you're getting it out of a book, you can't prove that God exists and that God is actually the right God or a just God. And so even if you want to argue that you're coming from a religious standpoint about your morals and beliefs or values, I would argue that it's still subjective because you're getting it from a source that we can't actually confirm is real, like like God, right? God and Jesus. We can say that Jesus might have existed in some form or fashion, like somebody that fit the description of Jesus, but we can't go back and check medical records and say that, oh yeah, this guy actually came back to life, right? It could have been a botched execution, or like not an execution because he was hung from a cross, right? But he could have just passed out and his heart could have gone really slow. Like there could have been a scientific explanation as to why he is, I'm not going to, please stop trying to convince me. Like I'll have a conversation with you, but you're doing that thing that I was hesitant of where you're just trying to tell me what to think, and that you're so convinced that your worldview is correct, that you're so concerned for my health and well-being that you're trying to get me to conform to what you believe. And I don't think there's any evidence of that. Right. Yeah. I'm a philosophical person who measures the concept or idea through rationality, epistemology, evidence, and gradient of certainty. And I'm a theistic agnostic, actually. Theistic. So you believe there is a God, but you're not married to any specific religion or religious ideology. Is that what you're saying? Am I understanding that right, Rishi? Please pray for understanding. I mean, I'll meditate for understanding. I think that I can do that. Wait, why do I have? Oh, okay. Where is my chat? Why is my chat not? It goes, okay. It's going up. Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah. I mean, I think you and I are in a similar boat because I'm not convinced one way or the other. So I just use the term atheist. Like I don't have any sort of entity that I believe in my day-to-day life. I just have like maybe some ideas and things of that nature. I believe that if there is a God, it's probably something like I don't want to use this as an example, but it is a really good example where have you ever watched Futurama, the old original season? In that show, there's a character called Bender. He's a robot, and for a brief moment, he was able to play God. Like he had kind of like a ecosystem living on his body while he was stranded in space or something like that. I can't remember exactly the details. But in him playing God, he also got to talk to God, and it was just like talking stars. And the quote that I remember from that show, that episode, was the God talking to Bender saying that if you've done something right, nobody will know you've done anything at all. Right. And I was like, oh, that's pretty poetic. That's cool. I like that. Like, you know, Futurama is a comedy, but sometimes they got some gems of some nuggets of truth. And I don't think you need to be a God to appreciate that saying. And I don't think you need to be a God to practice that, which is why my gamer, like my handle is the philosopher, because I don't want people to think about my name. I want people to think about the idea. So I have a username or an alias that is somewhat anonymous, not because I'm afraid of people finding out who I am, but just because I don't like the idea of me having a good idea that can change the quality of life for the better of other people, and people spending too much time praising me rather than actually implementing the idea itself. And that's more information than you asked for, but I just want to give that context, is that I really believe, not because of that episode, but that episode kind of helped make it tangible, make that concept tangible for me. So I really like that one. Okay, I'm Indian as well. I'm only a little bit Indian on my grandmom's side. She's from India. She passed away a long time ago, unfortunately. Let me see here. I'm from India, but I'm not from India. I'm from America. I'm an American citizen. Sorry. Subcontinent. My ideas of agnostic rose from the belief of non-duality. Non-duality. I'm not familiar. Where the observer and the observed isn't separated and logically interconnected and fundamentally the same. I understand bits and pieces of what you're saying, but I don't know for sure if I know what you mean. Right? Because I have my own personal beliefs about what I would consider an observer, but I'm using my own logic based off of my experience with like meditation and life and such, where and I will be honest, and when I was younger, a lot of this I experimented with some greenery, if you will. It helped me to observe my thoughts without participating in them. In meditation, they talk about this stuff a lot. It's really hard to explain some of this if you haven't done either like some sort of extensive soul searching or meditation or something where you're locked with yourself for like a long period of time or over the course of time. Oh, sorry. I missed some of these points on Twitch as well. What's up, J Money Man? How you doing? Wait, you're on YouTube. I don't see your name though. You have the YouTube icon, but I don't see my YouTube chat. How are you in here? Am I just blind? Oh no, there you are. There you are. There you are. You're way up there. I missed that. Sorry. And then I thought I saw the other Greek is in here too. Yeah, the other Greek is in here as well. What's up, man? When he was younger. Uh-oh, what did you say? When you were young. What do you mean when I was younger? What do you mean by that? Are we talking about premonitions? No. I was talking about the law of attraction in relation to the question about believing in something, having certainty in something that is uncertain, right? So believing in something definitively, like believing that God exists, right? Because we were talking about Christianity or religion, excuse me. So yeah, that's what I mean. Non-duality says that reality and the individual isn't separate entities, but the individual is part of a temporary part of yes, a temporary part of reality perceived by the observer, but yet not separate from so shared consciousness sort of idea, right? Sort of the not the singularity, but like everybody sort of contributes back into existence, right? So you have all these life experiences, you die, you know, I don't believe necessarily in a soul. If there is one, great, fantastic. You know, if there's some sort of afterlife that like I still retain my memories, great. You know, I will not complain. But yeah, I think that if there is some sort of entity out there, it is just existence itself, and everybody sort of just pours back into it when they're gone, right? To some extent, you know, energy doesn't die, it gets transferred, etc. So there is some sort of mysterious force within our bodies that we don't fully understand, like the uniqueness of it. A lot of what we are can be figured out by science, you know, measuring the impulses, the electricity that runs through our body or that we generate, the brain, the organs, everything, that how it works together. But there is sort of an unknown factor that everyone acknowledges. I don't try to insert my own belief into that. I just acknowledge that gap in our understanding of how consciousness works is still there to some extent, right? People are confident about a lot of things, right? I didn't think we'd be as far as we are with understanding how ADHD works, but now we can actually like measure that kind of thing. Not, measure might be the wrong word, but observe it in the brain, in a brain scan, like neurology type stuff. So you said you experimented with the greens when you were younger. How much younger? When I moved to San Diego. So like probably right after I stopped working at GameStop. And before too. When I moved to Michigan, I didn't really have a dealer. So like, you know, when I lived in Alabama, I was doing it in my free time. Like I would never go anywhere. Like I'm the kind of paranoid, like high dude, where I stay home. I don't want to be out in public. I don't want to talk to people. Right. So yeah, I never like came to work or anything like that. But when I was in Michigan, I didn't have a supplier. So it wasn't until I moved to San Diego when I started getting a supplier again. So I'm not sure when you were asking or if you were just like genuinely curious, but yeah. So you said meaning, Rishi says, meaning the tree, you, me, or even the God, anything isn't separated, and you are the tree, God, universe itself expressing. And yes, yeah, that's like, for me, I don't know if I'd even say most likely. I think that's the one that just makes sense to me, right? I'm not saying it's the most likely because I haven't really weighed all the logical tracks that you can follow. But I think that just makes sense in my head, you know? Yeah. He says, I'm the same way. I don't like not being in control of myself. I don't drink hardly ever. I did try shrooms once. I did not try that yet. Maybe one day. For the other day. For the first time though, wasn't really groundbreaking, just felt a little drunk. Did you microdose though? Did you microdose? That's probably why. Perfect. That wasn't the sound I was going for. That wasn't the sound that I wanted, but that's the sound that we got. It's not what I wanted, but it's the sound that we deserved, I guess. I don't know. I got a couple left if you're gonna be in town. Oh dang, they're full mushrooms. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll probably talk to my wife first. Like, it's not a big deal, but like, I like to make sure that I'm communicating that kind of stuff. I think it is a big deal to some extent. But I thank you. actually. Thank you very much. Okay, that does deserve it. Perfect. Very nice. Yeah, I did have a couple of videos as well. It's not as interesting as what we're talking about now, I'm going to be honest with you, but it is political. And it's adjacent to wrestling. That's a stretch. That's a stretch. It involves Linda McMahon, who is the Secretary of Education. Wait, no. But what is her title? I don't know. I can't remember the title, but she's like the secretary. She runs the Board of Education pretty much. And I think she's crazy. So to me, all the religions, gods, humans, the observer, and the one observed is the same field of reality in the universe. So there's no real purpose of life, but I feel I should learn more. Yeah. So I agree with what you're saying, but I also believe that gives us the freedom to make our own purpose. Because I think that you can get very nihilistic about it. And for some people, that's okay. They can function and contribute just fine. For me, I want to have a purpose, and I choose to make my own purpose or purposes. And a lot of them are based off my emotions, like my family, right? That's one of my purposes now. I never thought that I would actually have a kid, but I do. And I have someone that I can live with that tolerates me and I tolerate them, and more so, right? It's not just that we tolerate each other. We enjoy being around each other, but we also enjoy our freedom and our space, right? Like they're up out of town right now, going to a zoo, and I was just kind of like working on some projects at home and then kind of sleeping in a little bit because I'm still in a lot of pain. I got like the icy hot on my back right now, so that's sort of helping to take the mind off of it a little bit. But yeah. I'm the same way. All politics is wrestling adjacent lately. Yeah, you're right. If you were writing a fictional story, well, that's the funny thing about corruption. Someone would tell you that this shit is too on the nose. So I believe it was The Boys. I believe it was a writer for The Boys that was it The Boys or was it something else? It was either The Boys or it might have been Invincible, where the writer changed the story because it sounded too outlandish. And then shortly afterwards, Trump proved them wrong, and like the real world version of whatever he was writing happened. I wish I could remember what that was. Let's see if I can find it real fast. Yeah, it was one of the more recent episodes. Is this it? Oh, spoilers. I have it muted right now. Let me make sure I have it muted for y'all. Yeah. Let me see if I can find this. I'm gonna have to look for it later. This podcast is like an hour long. But 10 years ago, The Boys came out? Bruh. Can I find this? I don't think I'm going to be able to find it right now. I'll look for it later. I don't want to stress about that while I'm streaming. Yeah, but we're going to look at some, not depositions, but hearings from Linda McMahon, some people questioning her. And I haven't seen these yet, but I want to talk about them. They're pretty short. And then we can get back into this. And then I want to do some digging into Frederick Douglass. I want to see if I can find a good video on that, and with some good sources on Frederick Douglass. I had a conversation about this yesterday that reminded me of this. Let's see here. If we're writing a fictional story, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that. I think for sure South Park also does it a lot too, where they predict stuff. It says, I don't even know how to get into the ecosystem of information that the Republicans use anymore. Nothing is tethered to reality. It's like pulling teeth talking to these people. Bro, I'm in a Discord. Well, I don't know if I'm in the most up-to-date Discord because it keeps getting banned. I debated some of these MAGA idiots in here. And let me see if I can find it. And these guys are so irrational, dude. Like, they're so insane. And I hate to say that. But it's true. These guys are freaking insane, and they keep getting blocked, and they keep shutting down the server and starting new ones and wiping the chats. I've debated them. And as someone who hates to do this thing where I say, oh yeah, I own them, I do feel like I embarrassed these guys and they want to debate me again. And I won't debate them on their turf. I debated them like 2 or 3 times on their own homeland. And they haven't joined me yet. So it's time for them to join me. I'm going to antagonize them real quick. I'm probably going to get banned for this, but I'll tell you what I'm saying in a second. Okay, so I'm saying any MAGA people want to debate me, comma, DM me. I'm live on Twitch and YT, YouTube. I won't be checking the responses here. So join my stream and challenge me. No, wait, that doesn't make sense. I won't be checking the responses on here. So DM me or join my stream. So DM me. I'm going to fix this. Any MAGA people want to debate me, I'm live on Twitch and YT right now. I won't be checking the responses here, so DM me or join the stream and challenge me. Links in my bio. Bam. Let's see if anybody takes me up on that. Oh, I got to show you this quick update too. Let me pull this up on my Facebook real fast. And I'll show y'all. This is stupid. This is really stupid to me that this is a thing, but we're going to go ahead and just talk about it real fast. Let me see here. Okay. Oh, what did you say about soldiers? Sorry, I missed this. You said, I don't even know how to get, oh yeah, no. That's why to me, Jesus made less contribution, because if we should take care of his crucifixion for his problems, then a soldier in the army does more practical stuff than a person who died 200 years back. Right. Yeah. And see, here's the thing. Oh my God. Again, any Christians, I'm sorry. I'm just expressing my feelings. I'm not trying to attack you. Right. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm looking over here like you guys are over here. I'm not trying to attack you. But in the Bible, there's a lot of nonsensical things in there. And like you said about Jesus, yeah. Jesus, depending on what denomination you might be, Jesus is God himself. So if you follow that logic from God to Jesus and to his rebirth, God understood that man had sin and we're flawed. A perfect being made us. A perfect being made imperfect beings. I don't understand how a perfect being can make imperfect beings when we're made in his image, first off. I'm going to skip Adam and Eve because that'll make me mad. And God decides to impregnate, what, a 14-year-old girl? A 14-year-old virgin? Okay. He impregnates that 14-year-old virgin with himself. He is his own daddy. This lady was married. He couldn't find a non-married virgin. That's kind of messed up to me. This father, still raises the kid and everything. And his plan is to get himself killed and come back to life for the sins of man that are ultimately his fault, because he made us and he made us in his image. So did he make us wrong, or is he as flawed as we are? Right. And a lot of those answers are kind of already implied in the Bible, but what he is saying versus what is happening in the Bible are kind of contradictory if you're willing to look at it without being afraid of retribution. Because what Christianity does is it breaks your brain and it makes you afraid to scrutinize things, right? It makes you afraid of retribution. Being afraid of eternal hellfire for the rest of your life is a reasonable thing to be afraid of if you think that's a real thing. And since these people think it's real, they're not just, you can't be logical if you're afraid of looking into something or questioning something because of fear of eternal hellfire and retribution. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to attack Christianity, but like, you got to call a spade, you know? Okay. Anyways, so this is kind of a weird situation. I don't fully understand it because I think is this a repost? I think this is a repost. And so this is the original post picture, right? So I said, my second post is I post a picture from my life and MAGA loses their goddamn minds. This is me responding in surprise to my post. The original post said, thanks Trump voters, real great job getting the gas price down. I just went to a gas station and took a picture of the price of gas where I was. That's all I did. I'm sorry. And then I have 158 comments in the original post. The repost, which this is a picture. This isn't me this isn't me sharing my own post. This is me taking a picture in the snippet tool and circling the number of comments. Now look at these comments right here. Hold on. Oh shit. Look at this, 260 comments because I'm talking about the price of gas. Now, a lot of these people are like, a lot of my friends are replying to these randos that are like talking about the price of gas. Like you have your, where are they? Like, yeah, like this right here. And it continues to astonish me. Oh, this guy there's a guy that works for Tesla and is bragging about buying a Tesla car. It's like, bro, you work at Tesla. Shut the fuck up, man. Like, what are you talking about? During 2022, the price of gas, I think, was like $5 or something like that. And so the thing is, like, again, I'm not a Democrat. I'm more than willing to scrutinize Joe Biden for fucking up and having the gas prices be as high as they are. But the thing is that I take into account all the circumstances going on, whereas MAGA seems to have selective memory or hearing, right? Because in 2022, we were coming off the tail end of a pandemic, and there was a global crisis was happening. It wasn't just our country, and the way that all of our countries handle it, including how Trump handled it at the start in 2020, right? In the spring of 2020, how he handled it was a direct impact on the economy of America, right? But how we handle pandemics can also affect other countries. So if we're shutting down, right? If we're shutting down operations, if we're shutting down the city, if we're not doing it quick enough, if we're doing it too fast or too slow, right? All of those things can impact our own economy and also the world economy. And I'm still not necessarily blaming Trump. I'm just stating a fact for what it is, right? Trump got a shitty situation. I'm fine with saying that. I don't like Trump. I hate Trump. But he was handed a shitty situation with COVID, right? 2 years? No. Was it into his fourth year as a president? Like he was going on his last year as president? COVID was a billionaire scare? What do you mean by that? Well, that's any president up and down. 550 in Cali? 550 in Cali? That's actually not bad in Cali, honestly. Trump brought down gas from Biden at... Right. And so, Viking, what you're ignoring, though, is like you're really quick to blame Biden, but all you're doing is saying gas prices were high when Biden was president. I'm not saying gas prices are high because Trump is president. I'm saying gas prices are high because he's been instigating wars with other countries, not calling them wars and wars, not wars, because we're the president of peace. And then also like acting like he doesn't need help, but then lashing out at our allies when they don't help us. And then saying that he's going to bomb an entire city and then bombs a school. Like all of these things, and the Strait of Hormuz getting close. I can't pronounce that word properly. Hormuz. Pronunciation. Hormuz? Okay, chill. Jesus. So you can't hear this and you speak loud.
From this area, more vocabulary, including from Arabic. I've got more videos for you. Stay tuned. You'll want to learn from them.
I just want to hear the word.
The Strait of Hormuz.
Hormuz.
Hormuz. How to pronounce Hormuz Strait English pronunciation.
Why do you say it like that? Hormuz.
Here are more videos.
All right, chill out, man. Chill out. Straight up Hormuz. Got it. Got it. Straight up Hormuz. Sorry, I don't believe in Jesus. I'm happy for you. If that's what all that matters to you. But I don't believe like that Jesus matters to me. I don't think that story is true, and I don't think the Bible is true. You're welcome. Again, this is America. Assuming you're an American, hey, believe what you want to believe. That's beautiful, right? So anyways, it's just like, this is a really weird situation where I like my social media brain, which I don't like social media, but I understand it from a business standpoint. My business side is like, how do I capture this? And then the civilian me that's just living life is like, what is wrong with people? You know? I'm not familiar with that. I'm not familiar with the oh, I get it. How do you do it? How do you do it, sir? So were there any MAGA people? I typed in that chat earlier. I see some people hopping in here, so I'm curious to know if there's any MAGA people. I would say the most important topic is that, like, that I would want to debate is addressing MAGA themselves, right? Or addressing Trump specifically. But I want to address how MAGA people behave and how I don't think they behave in a rational and honest way. I don't think that MAGA understands what good faith actually means. I don't think MAGA knows how to be truly honest. And I don't think MAGA in general know how to steel man an argument. I think they only know how to straw man an argument. I think that you have to be crazy to be MAGA. I think that is one of the prerequisites, right? As someone who does not like to be generalized or stereotyped and does not like to generalize or stereotype other people, MAGA is a unique situation where you have somebody who clearly has many flaws that are being ignored and just justified, and his followers are repeating that same pattern of behavior. And so personally, I think that all people who are MAGA fit into a category of delusion. What's the difference between MAGA and people that just support the president? Well, for me, they're one and the same. So for me, even if you're not a Republican, even if you say that, like, because I've heard this argument before where it's like, oh, well, I don't follow any political party, I just follow the president. I'm sorry, if you're not willing to criticize your leader, if you're not willing to be fair in all circumstances, then you're MAGA, right? That you fall into that MAGA category for me. Like, my definition is totally not the normal definition of MAGA. Well, I think that it is a fair explanation. You know, anybody who believes in Make America Great Again, anybody who anybody who supports Trump and is still like anybody who is still supporting Trump now, anybody who does not see a problem with what Trump is doing is MAGA to me, right? That might not be the textbook definition of who is MAGA, right? Like, you know, you don't have to wear a red hat. If you're willing to justify what the president is doing when they're doing something wrong, or you're willing to call out or you're willing to call out like Joe Biden or any other president for the same exact behavior, then you are somebody who is MAGA. Yeah, Trump 2028. If you're serious, then you're dumb. No, it's not just dumb. Like, if you legitimately want Trump 2028, then you don't care. You're not an American. I'll put it that way. You're not actually an American. You're not someone who respects the Constitution. Oh, well, you're way off your assumptions of people. Explain, elaborate. Please do. Oh, you're just being funny. Okay, well then I take it back. Sorry. Yeah, I do have a couple of videos. I'm gonna let chat say a few more things before I hop into this one. This one's only 5 minutes though, and I think I will record this as well, just in case I want to edit this one for YouTube. Bro, that is wishful thinking, man. That is wishful thinking that you think he's gonna survive for that long. Like, he's old. Like, of old age. I had to correct myself there. Trump 32. I mean, we're already in 2026. That's less than 10 years away. He might survive that long, but he should not be president in 32. Like, he's too old now He's too old now. So I'm not eager to see him try to be president. Let me see if my other camera died. Oh, my other camera did die. Okay. Did it? Yeah, I'm gonna charge this battery and swap out the battery real quick. Let me use this in a second. Ba-da-ba-ba-da. I heard it shut off earlier and I was like, why? Well, I was doing a lot of testing earlier and I left it running. I thought I turned it off, but I didn't. But I got a backup camera. Whoa, what just happened? Hit the snipping tool. That's what happened. So I guess Boshi, you're not MAGA then? You're just kind of like playing around? Yeah, I'm still voting Trump in 2028, though, and Barron Trump in 2032. And after that, I'm done with MAGA. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, let me check some real fast. There we go. Okay. All right, just making sure. Just making sure. Just making sure. Both of my parents support Trump. What do you say to what do you have to say about them? Same. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I stand on business. My family stands on business with this kind of stuff. My family, my side of the family and my wife's side of the family both have people who have some bigoted takes, and we've cut them off from our life because they have bigoted takes, and those takes are affecting people's lives, and we're seeing the impact of those lives in our like personally, you know, working at a college, I saw a lot of bullshit that should not have happened because of what Trump was doing with like shattering DEI and deporting people who were here illegally. And when they were trying to claim that they were going after people who were like illegals and people who were breaking the law. Tell me why I'm sick. Tell me why I'm sick. What is sick about what I'm saying? I challenge you to tell me what it is that I'm sick on. Instead of just calling me a name and leaving, how about you try talking to me? They're like, I'll hold on. So look, I'm not being mean by saying this, but your parents, if they support Trump, then they support bigotry. It's not anything that I'm not attacking your parents. I'm not insulting your parents or your grandparents or whoever. If they support Donald Trump, then they support racism. They support attempted dictatorialness, right? They support screwing over the poor man to line their own pockets. They support violence on people when it's not justified. Yeah, I'm sorry. Your parents are bigots and selfish, or they're misled. They might be incredibly misled, but they're older than both of us, so they should know better by now, right? They should know how to be able to understand behavior, and they should have morals, and they should be able to see what's happening. So if they're being misled enough by media, yeah, media plays a part in that, absolutely, but they are their own individuals, and they have access to the same tools that you and I have access to. So if you think that I'm sick because I'm calling your parents what they are, or your grandparents, or whoever, your relatives, I'm just being consistent, right? That is all I'm doing. And I'm sorry that it's your family, but I would challenge you or anybody like this who takes an issue with what I'm saying. Are you being biased, and are you being irrational because you're being biased? And are you trying to rationalize your bias so that you can justify it? Because if you, the reason you ask me that is because you know that you think differently or have different expectations of your parents. And I won't get into all the details, but when my parents have said bigoted things in the past to me, I cut myself off from them, and I set my barrier. I'm not being immature. I just tell them respectfully, I'm like, I can't associate with people who are being bigoted. I'm not that kind of person. I am consistent. I don't care if it's black people, white people, gay people. If you're being a bigot, and not just being a bigot, because people can say, you know, I have immigrant family. Like, it's one thing to just say something that is racist or off, you know, older generations, they say stuff, right? You get that. But when you're like, I'm willing to vote to stop that person from doing something, when that comes out of your mouth, that's a different story. That's a different story. And I'm just being consistent regardless. So you can call me sick and leave, if you would like. But I think that you just don't want to hear the truth. I think you'd rather just villainize somebody and plug your ears, like what MAGA does, instead of actually trying to consider that maybe your parents have flaws that you're not willing to accept. And it's easy for Christians to do this because they already have that pattern of behavior where they convince themselves of things that aren't actually logical or tangible or provable. Again, that's not me disrespecting them. I promise. I'm not trying to be mean. It's just an observation of the pattern of behavior and the consistency. I don't know which part you want me to say again. Okay, we get the Dems supporters. What about the Trump supporters, though? What about them? There is a deeper layer to it as well. I have a family member who is afraid Muslims will take over into law. Okay. I've known people like this, and I mean, there's a lot of propaganda out there. I remember working with somebody who was like a manager of mine years ago in Alabama, and like he was so open about just kind of like talking about the Muslims, and because he felt so empowered by this documentary he watched on Netflix about Muslims, and like had all these assumptions about them. And it's like, bro, I'm not even going to talk to you about this because like you're a key holder. I'm just a part-timer at the time. But it's just like, bro, you're wanting to believe what you want. But my point though, to what you were saying, Dunford, is that a lot of times it's projection, because what religion has, and I might have to Google this because I'm willing to be wrong, but even if I'm wrong on this exact statement, it doesn't take away from what I'm trying to get at, which the question is, what religion has caused more violence in the world? What religion has caused the most violence in the world? And I would argue it was Christians. Now, the way that Christian nations tend to document their violence is a little bit iffy, because when you're going into a country and you're liberating them and showing them Christianity, it's not like you're just writing on the books that you're murdering everybody, right? But that's what was happening. The Mayans, a lot of the islands, things of that nature. You have Christians, conquistadors, Templars going through and cutting everybody up, right? I'm not sure if you're saying look at the Jews have been persecuted as well. I'm not sure if you're saying the Jews have caused more violence. But I mean, Israel now, I'm hesitant to even talk about this topic because of how it's handled socially. Like right now, it's not politically correct to criticize. Well, hold on. For some people, if you are criticizing the nation and the government of Israel, they will immediately say that you're criticizing Jews and that you are phobic towards the Jews. And so I'm hesitant to even fall into that category because I have a lot of criticisms for the government of Israel. But I also know that people love to just try to cancel people for that reason. And so while I can express how I feel in general about that, I'm not going to dig into it, at least during this stream. I think Europe, North and East Africa, and India would disagree with you in terms of what religion has killed people the most. And again, that's a weird question. Like, I don't like the way I'm phrasing it. But I mean, I would love to know what you're like. Can you be more specific about what you're saying? Because I'd rather you just give me the information that you're trying to allude to. Oh, so let me see here. So it's not overt racism, but there is enough below the surface to believe pretty much any claim made. Yeah. Let me see. The family member doesn't hate Muslims, but there is enough there that they'll believe this Muslim takeover thing. Well, it's like replacement theory, right? And this is why I lost some friends over this, because I said that anyone who watches Tucker Carlson, please just remove yourself from my friends list. I wasn't trying to be like, I speak very matter-of-factly, and sometimes there's no emotion behind what I'm saying. Is just, I don't want to talk, I don't want to associate with anybody who was a Tucker Carlson fan. Because at this time, Tucker Carlson had confirmed that he believed and endorsed replacement theory, right? Again, you got to be more specific. What is human behavior in a bad? What's a bad take? Like you're giving me I want to have a constructive conversation because I feel like you're saying things that are worth having a rebuttal to. However, one, because I'm like tired and I'm on a lot of stuff right now, and I'm just like slow sometimes. I'm not catching what you're saying because I'm already on to a new topic or a new part of the sentence by the time you respond. So if you can give me specifics, I can respond to you mo better if you would like. Let me see here. Share screen. Oh God, no. Uh-oh. Who told you? Who told you? Who told you about that Pong life? Who told you about that Pong life? Who are you? Are you the government? I plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. William Mathis. William Mathis. I don't recognize that name. Oh no. Killing is a human behavior, not because of religion. Sure. But my take is, I don't think my take is bad though. The thing is that people, yeah, I'm not saying I agree with you, but I'm willing to grant you that it is human nature to kill people, right? It is human nature to be violent to some extent. Fine. I will grant you that, but that doesn't make my take bad. What I'm saying though, is that there is an understanding even at those times, right? Like the conquistadors, the Templars, there's an understanding of behavior about how you're supposed to conduct yourself according to the Bible. Although there are not passages, there are areas in the Bible that contradict that, but nonetheless, people who are civilized human beings are going around slaughtering other people in other nations and using the Bible to justify it. Okay. So they know better, but because they are morally righteous or they're brainwashed or they're corrupt and just lying about it, they are leveraging the Bible in order to justify them taking over our country, murdering everybody, doing our stuff to the women or whoever, young or old, who knows, right? There's tons of documents of this outside and inside of religion, like within, like Catholicism, priests, young boys, but also going to other countries, pillaging, R-wording, all that kind of stuff. So they're civilized enough to know better, but they're justifying their actions in a multitude of psychology, whether it be conscious or unconscious. They're using the Bible to hide behind. So I don't think my take is bad. Oh, I was saying your take is bad for cutting friends off. Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus loves you. Stay blessed. Hey, I appreciate you, man. Don't believe in him. And yeah, thank you though. The gesture is appreciated, but I would appreciate it not again. Just because I would prefer that you respect my beliefs, which is a lack thereof in yours. So just don't push it onto me, but I understand the gesture and I appreciate it. I can just say thank you and move on. Pete Hexeth? Pete Buttigieg? Pete Davis? I'm sorry. I don't know. No. So, okay. Can you tell me why, Tyrock, why it's a bad take? I'm not saying I disagree with you, actually. I'm not saying that my way is the right way in this, but it is. And I think that in order for you to truly say it's a bad take, though, I think that you would need more context, right? So I'm not willing to, but yes, William, I am the Fong player, by the way, just to confirm what you were saying. Sorry about that, man. I'm not going to get into like too deep of the personal experience. I give you a very generic explanation, but just understand that there were a lot of words said and a lot of discussion had before I got to that point, right? I did a lot of digging to understand how somebody is, and there is a risk to doing that, right? And this is why I'm willing to agree with you that it is a bad take in certain circumstances. If you are somebody who does not have their own property and is living with your parents and you try to cut your parents off from your life, no, like, unless you can live on your own 2 feet, I think, because I was to a degree that kid, like I was kind of a spoiled brat, right? And I was selfish, but I did something that ended up being very mature as I got older, which was separating myself from drama or people who are dramatic. And so I think that it is not a bad take or a good take. I think it is a situational take where, depending on, I'm aware prior to what I'm saying that there is a risk, or there may be a risk, right? And this is why for other people in different stages of your life, if you're having very heavy MAGA family members and you don't know how to or can't live on your own, now is probably not the best time for you to take a stand against your parents unless you're fully aware and willing to deal with the repercussions. And I don't think people who are very young understand that. And the reason why I'm bringing young people up is because I worked at a college for like 5 or 6 years. And I worked at a college that was very liberal leaning. The city is very liberal leaning. And there are a lot of people who are understandably not wanting to, respect their elders and things of that nature and taking a stand. But then it's like, and it's not always their parents. Sometimes it's like taking a stand for video games or something. And it's like, bro, you're sounding real, like, I'm the voice of reason for them being like, you're sounding real spoiled and entitled right now. Like, you're complaining about a certain kind of chair for your esports arena when we have I didn't have an esports arena when I was a kid. Like, I understand your frustration, and that's something that we can work towards, but sitting here and trying to like throw a tantrum about that shit, no. So I agree with the sentiment of what you're saying, Tyrock. I think that's fair. I think that's a fair point that you're alluding to, right? And the reason why I'm doing this is I want people to see that, again, I want you to focus more on the idea, not the person. When I say this, I am somebody who is willing to call myself out on hypocrisy or willing to change my pattern of behavior to avoid being a hypocrite. And I don't mean that in like some sort of super accommodating, bend over backwards kind of way. I just mean that if there is some level of hypocrisy, or if there is some way to see my point of view in a different light that people are trying to allude to, I'm not going to gaslight you. I'm not going to straw man you. I'm going to try to acknowledge my point. No, I'm going to try to acknowledge your point to the best of my ability. And then if I disagree still, right? Like, well, first off, assuming I consider what you say. And then if I don't disagree, then I explain why I disagree from a good faith standpoint, rather than just ignoring what you just said, right? Because I think that while you're just typing, if you're on a phone, I get it for sure. Like, it's a pain in the ass to type here. So I appreciate you if you're even talking on the phone, because I sometimes use my voice to text. I can't do all that. Anyway, so I'm trying to hit a side point here while finishing up the point that you and I are having here, Tyrock, which is I am willing to be good faith, right? That's the shorter. I could expand, but I'm going to generalize in case there's any people from that MAGA Discord that I was messaging in earlier. I am confident when it comes to debating these MAGA people, right, that the problem is not me. I am somebody who is heavily critical of myself. I am so critical to myself that it is almost toxic sometimes. Okay. And so when I say something, or more importantly, when other people say something, right? We can talk about me later, but when other people say something, I take into consideration what they are saying and also what they are trying to say. And I obviously you're typing, so it's a little bit different, but if I don't understand something, I ask clarifying questions. If something doesn't make sense to me, I ask clarifying questions, or I reframe it and ask for confirmation. If they confirm what I'm saying, great. I take that and I remember it. If they don't, then I ask for more clarity because I'm missing something still. What people in that MAGA Discord like to do is not that. They don't care about what I say. They just make up shit. And then they don't care about what they themselves said. They just keep making up shit, right? I want to show people what good faith looks like. So sorry for the tangent there. What's the take? What's the take on what? What's my take on Aki? I don't know what you're asking. Sorry, Tyrock, what did you say? I want to hear out people watch stuff to hear opinions, and you can also sway them through small shifts. Yes. And I want to practice that more. There's a lot of areas within, I'm going to say debating, but I'm also going to lump in discourse and dialogues, conversations, because I don't think that the most productive format for MAGA and not an anti-MAGA to debate to have is a debate. But the hard part is that MAGA in general, like a prerequisite of MAGA is bad faith, in my opinion. So it's just impossible. Well, okay. All right. Hold on. Let me backtrack a little bit here. I don't like the way that sounded. But I agree with it. You see, I'm having an inner dialogue right now. I'm challenging my thinking. But the thing is that in order for someone to maintain being MAGA, like if somebody is, if somebody is able to still be MAGA now, and this is why I was saying this earlier, they have to be ignoring reality. And so anybody who is still in MAGA, like they either live in a hole where they're not interacting with anybody or getting any sort of alternate source of facts other than like their right-wing media. They're not actually doing any of their own critical thinking. And that's just like, we'll boil that down to ignorance, right? If I say ignorance, that's kind of what I'm saying, was like they're just kind of intentionally or unintentionally plugging their ears. They live in a small town where everyone thinks the same and they don't have a lot of technology, or they don't use a lot of technology. And they, like, there's that scenario. But I'm talking about people who have Discord, or people who have the internet that are still debating people in this like Discord. Take on the topic. But yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sure my take now, unless you mean something different. Let me go back to what you were saying. No, I understand you have a separate belief. No hate from me, just trying to guide people. Yeah, I figured. I don't force anyone to follow, only plant the seed. Fair enough. Yeah. Want to hear out people also watch stuff. Yep. Is that highlighted? Why is that there? Take on topic. Trolling. James, I'm not trolling. What insult did I give people? Tell me where I insulted them. I have a family that are super MAGA. They are absolutely zero ability to reason with them. Right. And that does not make me happy hearing that. But it just is more confirmation about what I said. So this is a left and right wing debate. No, I'm not left. I don't think the Democratic Party should exist. So, I mean, I don't think the Republican Party should exist either, but I think the Democrats should be fired. So I am heavily critical of the Democrats. It's just that I don't think they are a threat to the whole entire world. I think they're a threat to our like true freedom. I think they are a threat to our wallet being bigger to some extent. I think that it might be a threat to, I don't want to say coddling. I don't think I want to say that, but I think there are people in the Democratic Party that are leveraging topics like DEI for their benefit. And I don't think they always have or care about the best outcome. I'll say it that way. He just makes fun of people who, so James, again, so this is the thing that I'm talking about, where James is telling me that I'm doing something. He said that I'm trolling. He said that I just insult people. He says that I just make fun of people who don't think like him, but he hasn't actually given me an example. You can hop on a voice call with me and I can show in real time what I'm talking about, unless you're willing to be good faith. Because, okay, I can get my phone line open and running for you. I have about, I can give you 15 minutes or so if you're willing to debate. Yeah, but do you want to hop on a voice call or a video call and talk it out? Because we can just verbally talk, and you can show me how I'm insulting people rather than just giving you feedback, rather than just giving my observation on what's actually happening. If somebody is on a trampoline and they're jumping, and then somebody else is on a trampoline and they're jumping, and I say, oh, that one kid is jumping a lot shorter than that other kid. That other kid is doing backflips and this other kid is not jumping. Are those insults, or is that just me stating or giving my commentary on what's happening in real time? Yeah. It's fine for you to have disagreements. That's totally okay. But like Balshi said, perfectly said. Yeah.
Perfect.
And I might have some extreme takes, but I can show you in real time, like, give me somebody who is MAGA and watch me have a conversation with them. Any rational person that I've talked to just answers my questions and I answer their questions, and we grow and I try to understand where they're coming from. But what ends up happening is that possibly because of my ADHD brain, when I notice something like a discrepancy, right? Like a lot of times there's hypocrisy in the arguments that are made by people who are MAGA, defending MAGA points. I'm generalizing, saying MAGA a lot. So just understand that like, it is not that general, but it could be the shooting of Alex Peretti or anybody else. It could be, you know, the gas prices, whatever topic it is. There's always an example of something happening on the other side where their worldview switches and they can't actually be consistent, right? That's just an example of what I mean. But every time I've talked to MAGA, they do one of multiple things where they don't answer your questions. They don't actually acknowledge what you're saying. They will ignore facts or change facts, right? These are things that are happening. I'm not insulting them. Show me where I'm wrong. I'm asking you. I'm begging you to show me where I'm wrong. Actually, I'm begging you because I would love to be proven wrong, and I would love to believe that I'm the crazy one, that I'm the one that is irrational, and MAGA is actually a very rational movement. So if you can, I'm willing to be proven wrong. I'm willing to be proven wrong. I got eyes. It's you got eyes. James is lonely, just trolling himself. Yeah. Deflecting questions. Yeah. Andrew Wilson is not MAGA, but he is a skilled conservative. He to me, he's yes. So you're right. And I don't know if you were here for this earlier, but I personally consider him MAGA because he's defending MAGA. Even if he's not directly defending MAGA, which I've watched a lot of debates with Andrew. Wait, let me make sure I know the right person that you're talking about. I might be wrong. I could be wrong. Wait, what? That's Andrew Wilson? Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm thinking of the wrong person then. I'm thinking of somebody else. I am totally wrong. I don't know this person. I thought he was the pickle jar guy. No, yeah, it is a pickle jar guy. It is a pickle jar guy. Okay, yeah. He's the pickle jar guy. Yeah, this guy is MAGA to me. This guy is MAGA. He does the same stuff. Pickles. Oh my God, this guy is a joke. Okay, now I'm insulting. This guy is a fucking joke. That's an insult, right? That's a very minor insult, but it is an insult nonetheless. So that is me insulting somebody. I'm usually aware when I'm insulting somebody. If I'm insulting somebody and I'm not aware of it, it's an accident, right? Not really. He's not MAGA. Steve Murphy. That sounds familiar. I don't think I know you though. Hold on. Let's listen to some debates from Andrew Wilson just because he was on CNN recently or something. I watched something from him yesterday. I watched this from him yesterday. Or no, 2 days. Yeah, yesterday. I don't want to watch that one. I hate the whole like liberal gets roasted or conservative gets bamboozled or gets like bodied by super liberal. Like, God, it's so sensationalized, bro. I hate that shit. I don't like, if someone told me I want a debate, I'm going to be pissed off because I don't like the concept of winning a debate. Like, yes, I understand in a traditional debate, if there's like a point structure and there's some sort of like final judgment, fine. But if it's like trying to win over the audience, I hate that shit. I'm sorry. Like, I hope I never get to the point where I'm making videos like that, but I understand it from a clickbait perspective. So I don't hate it ethically or morally. It's just, I hate the word cringe. The word cringe is cringe to me, but yeah. Let me see if I can find one. This guy is interesting. I don't remember his name. John. I don't know if I like that guy. Not that it really matters. Oh, this guy, I know him. Is that not Ben Shapiro? Something Brian Shapiro? Something like that. The clickbait title, I hate them. Yeah, man. I try not to like lean too heavy into that. I've done a few videos like that, like some shorts. But even if, yeah, Brian Shapiro. Yeah, Brian Shapiro. Yeah, he's a Christian nationalist. So he's MAGA. Yeah. Because he has said he's a Christian nationalist. It is just YT. Everyone does it for the algo. Yeah, they do, Boshi. I'm assuming it's Boshi, right? Like Master Boshi. That's what I'm saying. I can't hate it ethically because I get the hustle. So I can't be mad at it. I just kind of hate it. There's a reason why I hate it. The reason why I hate it is that it just, before you even watch the video, especially like a lot of liberals, they're going to already have a preconceived notion about the conservative. And I get that because they're looking for that. It's like going to a Jake Paul fight. You're looking for him to get knocked out unless you're a Jake Paul fan. right? That's the thing. And I get it. I get it. It just kills me on the inside a little bit. I block. Yeah, I've done that. Like I'll thumbs down a video where like I'll watch somebody like who's the guy? I watch a lot of Adam Mockler videos, but I tend to like thumbs down his videos. Like I don't go into the comments and like roast anybody, but like if I feel like I've been bamboozled by his like fucking AI clickbait thumbnail, then I'm gonna give him a thumbs down. I'm not gonna give him any sort of like or anything like that. I'm a conservative atheist who hates Trump. Conservative atheist who hates Trump. Very interesting. Very interesting. You're making me think because I hate how my brain forces me to be consistent with things because I want to share an opinion that I have and see where you lie with it, but I don't want to turn it into an argument because I already have enough of those moving as we go. Okay, let me just ask you this. Well, are you a politician or are you just a conservative? I guess that's the first question, because if you're a politician, then I have a question. If you're just like a conservative person who votes, I can think of actually another follow-up conversation. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, no. I watched enough of his debates. I would consider him MAGA. Like even if he's not a Trump fan, like he does his bidding a lot. He does his bidding a lot for sure. Let me watch one video here. Linda McMahon, Trimples. Yeah, see Trimples as Mark. Yeah, look at this title. Here incompetence intense house hearing. Now, let's see about the incompetence part. That part I can judge on my own, but we won't be able to see if he's shaking. I also love to argue I am anti-political. Okay, what do you mean by anti-political? Do you oppose the silly Iran war? All right, look, depending on who's asking that question, I need you to understand that different people are looking for different things. So I'm going to answer your question, and I'm going to add some caveats or some other bits of information, because I'm trying to make sure I answer the question that you're not asking, and also answer the question you are answering the question you're asking, and answering the question you might not be asking. So overall, in general, yes, I am opposed to this war. The shortest response I can also give, the shortest caveat I can give, is that I am in no way endorsing the behavior of Iran or the Iranian government. Okay? Again, I'm not assuming you're saying that, but there are people who will filter that question and they will get a gotcha in their own head. And while I don't care if they think they won something, I just want to make it clear that me criticizing America and Trump for how they're handling this Iran war does not negate how the Iranian government has behaved. But I also believe that there is no credible evidence that we have to justify us attacking them, right? So if you're talking about specifically just the war, the interactions or the skirmishes, if you will, according to Trump, we don't have any evidence. And you telling me, bro, just trust me, they're cooking some shit up. Bro, just trust me is not going to work for convincing me that it is a justified attack to also bomb a school and then not directly address it. Or I'm big on accountability. Okay. And while I can sit here and criticize Iran as much as everybody wants or doesn't want, I'm not that well versed on how they behave. I know enough to know that they're not great people, but I know enough to know on our side, I believe in accountability. I believe in honesty. I believe in integrity. And when you don't apologize, right? And it's not the apology, it's the acknowledgement. When you don't acknowledge that you killed schoolgirls for your war that isn't justified, I have negative respect for you. I have negative respect for you. I have, what is a good word that I can think of that's PC? No, I'm not for it. I'm not for it. Sorry. I'm not sure if that answered your question or not. Hopefully, I said no. Or yes, I'm opposed to it. Sorry. Yes, I'm opposed to the war. Yes, I'm opposed to the war. Much love for my Fang brother. Yeah. Are you so you play Fong too? You play Fong? Oh. Do we have a fellow Fong player here? Oh man, we got a Fong emote in the chat. Hold on, are you on Twitch or you're on YouTube? I don't have it on YouTube. I got a Fong emote on Twitch. Do I have access to it on here? Shit, I gotta pull up Twitch. I'll do it just for you. I was just thinking about getting rid of it too. That's funny. You came in here and like popped. I have not met another Fong player or like someone who knows about Fong in like years. Do I still have the emote? Yeah, you might not be able to see it, but it should pop up on the screen. Brian Shapiro is the worst. I don't know how I feel about Brian Shapiro. I think I have mixed feelings about him sometimes. I don't know. His like demeanor, his attitude sometimes gets on my nerves more than like what he's actually debating. Where'd the video go? Oh, I might have missed some stuff in chat here. I endorse the Iranian government in defending themselves. Yeah, I mean, again, I can still say what I said earlier, but also like, yeah, why wouldn't they defend themselves? I'm sorry, like the way that we're behaving, their response is justified. Again, it doesn't take away from how they're doing things behind the scenes that don't affect necessarily us and how they're treating their own people. I think that deserves some criticism, but we can't sit here and act like, oh, they're treating their people so much worse than us, so therefore we have the moral high ground, Anakin. Like, what the hell? You just shot like 2 white people point blank in the face and in the back like a few months prior. No, yeah, like me saying that it is justified for Iran to respond the way that they are does not mean that I can't also say or criticize them for what they're doing, you know? And again, even if you're like super pro Iran, I still stand by what I'm saying. Hello, by the way, Norbert. Hello, Norbert. Well, that's an old ass picture. Cool. Even when they allegedly killed thousands of their own because they thought that so we're talking about it already in the chat here. Original protests were, hello. Yes, the protests are irrelevant to that. Yeah. So I think G-Man, you're saying kind of what I'm saying, where it's like, that's a separate thing. Like I can acknowledge that, but it's also separate, right? Them doing that does not disqualify them from defending themselves internationally. Does that make sense? And the protests were caused by American currency manipulation and Israeli malfeasance. It's just a money grab. BRB mechanism. Oh shit, that got me off guard. Yeah, but does that make sense to y'all? Where like I'm trying to follow along with this chat because it looks like different people have different takes on this, and it's like I had the same conversation in the voice chat with hold on, let me get a little personal with you guys here. Not personal, but like let me go over here because I'm talking so much. I want me on screen and not the damn thing. So the way that we're handling, I mean, honestly, this seems to be a pattern of behavior for us, because I would also say that Ukraine and Russia fall into this category, and then Palestine and Israel fall into this category. I think that Venezuela, I don't think that's as one-to-one. Like there's always some other major party, not always. In the scenarios that I'm giving, there are other major countries, Israel being one multiple times, Russia being another one, that have some other motive as well for engaging in war with these countries, right? I think that the Palestinian situation is the exact same. No, let me rephrase that. I think that there are elements of both that are exactly the same. I'm not saying the situations and the suffering are the same, nor am I saying they should be compared in the first place. What I'm saying is you have a country where there is no, honestly, no, I would say that Iran is sort of flipped to Palestine and Israel, where it's like, where, I don't know, they're so similar, where it's like, us being America, the American government and Israel going in here and like messing with these other countries and justifying. The part that's relevant is that they keep justifying violence on countries because of how those countries are treating their own people, and or they like a organization that they say represents that whole country is justification to punish the whole country. So you have Hamas doing horrible things that we can all acknowledge, doing horrible stuff, but it's like the Palestinian and like citizens are dying. It's not just Hamas that are dying. Like that's not an arguable fact. And I think I'm willing to be fair and say there is some sort of argument for how Hamas is behaving and how they might be hiding behind civilians, metaphorically speaking, more so than literally. I still don't believe that is justification for how things are being handled. And I don't think that's justification to lie to the public about how they're handling it, right? They're lying to us about how they handle some of these situations. And it's the same thing with Iran, where, because they have, like, we have no king's protests all over the country. Does that justify some other country and coming in and telling us what to do? Hell no. Hell no. I might take up arms if another country tries to come over here and no other country is going to come over here and tell us what to do because the American government is screwing us over. Now, that's a conversation that should remain open. If the government gets too crazy, maybe I would be open to like some other country helping us out because the American government is killing people quite literally. I think someone might have mentioned ICE in the chat. But I think in somebody asking about that, I just want to make it known that it doesn't make us the good guys by attacking bad countries. Well, hold on. It doesn't make us the good guys by attacking countries with bad governments. Let me say that. We are not the good guy. So whether or not it's justified, I think there is a moral argument. And yeah, I'm atheist, so I have a subjective morality, but I can back up my morality with like what group of people are suffering, if at all, right? I boil it down to suffering and prosperity. So I still can come up with my own morality that is I consider fair, right? How can we say the ICE shootings are tragic where they are while also saying the Iran protest is irrelevant? Just to be clear, I'm not saying that. I saw it in the chat, but I'm not saying that I'm saying that. Just to, like, I think that is all bad. And that's why I said attacking a country because they have a bad government doesn't make us the good guys, right? They aren't scared. There's no one here. They aren't scared. There's no one here. Lightning Green. Yeah, they know where to find me. They've said things to me on text, but whenever I want to debate somebody on MAGA, are you MAGA? Are you MAGA? Lightning Rain? Chocolate Rain? Vanilla Rain? Caramel Rain? Let me see here. Defending themselves from a foreign country, okay, fair, but gunning down thousands allegedly because of a suspicion. Iran's proxies should have known what Israel would do when they attack. I can't believe you said BRB. My cat is barking. Yeah, you and I might believe that. You and I believe that. Not everyone does. That morality is subjective. You can be the good guys, or you can be the ones who save the world. You cannot be both. I don't know if I agree with that. I'd have to simmer on that a little bit before I'd say I agree or disagree. I'll be honest with you. And part of that would be just me clarifying my own subjective morality within that. Captain Homer. I get what you're saying, Boshi. But it almost feels like a bit of a nonsensical statement to me, because the both good guys and you said heroes save the world, both of those things are kind of subjective. Like, what do you mean by save the world? Like, if we're enslaving everybody to stop war, and that therefore equals peace, like back, what's happening? Just continuing to talk about some topics right now. We're sort of merging some Israel, like talking about what is justified in terms of international affairs / morality, intervention, things of that nature. It was a quote from Invincible. Oh, I should have known that. I should have known that. I don't think so. I think I think it is a thing. I think it also is ever changing. because of both the planet and the ecosystem, and also technology and our involvement in that, and then also just wildlife as a whole. So I think that it is real how much of an impact we have on it. Let me say this. I am frustrated with our lack of effort into understanding global warming, aka climate change, right? It is frustrating that we don't know as much as we should. And the conversation keeps getting shut down. And so it is concerning behavior to me when rich people are shutting down scientists who believe that there is an issue with our home. I don't think it is somebody else's right to quiet somebody on these topics. They should be helping to better understand it. So until you show me a politician or a rich person that has in the past hindered our ability to understand global warming or climate change, like until you show me that they're willing to actually learn to the fullest extent, I am very suspicious of anybody who shuts down global warming, because we don't know enough. And I know we don't know enough because every time we try to talk about it at the public or the political stage, it gets shut down. If it's not an issue, then why don't we just go ahead and hear it out fully? But we don't. I can't show a single what. What country are you from? You know, like originally me, John Jr. Jingleheimer Schmidt. His name was my name too, actually. And whenever I grew up, the people always said I was born in Atlantic City, New Jersey. La 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 la. Can't show a single one. Can't show a single what though? The dinosaur didn't believe in climate change either, and they wound up. You know, I mean, what can I tell you? Yeah, and there's some theoretics to that, because there was also a comet, asteroid, meteor. I think it was an asteroid. I want to say it was an asteroid or several that like impacted the Earth, and that led to the climate change. Right, you know, the fog going over and then causing some tectonic plates to shift and creating volcanoes and earthquakes. So it's like a crazy chain reaction from an asteroid hitting on one side and kind of leaving the whole entire planet, like leading to an ice age, I believe. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize you said meteors. I was correcting myself. I thought you said asteroids and I said meteors. I just filled in the blanks in my head there. Dinosaurs got hacked by a meteor. Global warming argument week. What argument? I didn't make an argument. What? I think calling an argument weak before you fully understand it is weak. I think it's whack. Meteor hit, kicked Ash into the atmosphere, causing cooling, killing lizards. Yes. Wait, so I'm confused. What are you saying? I'm here with you. The general public is misinformed. Captain Homer, what are you saying? Asteroid in space, meteor in the atmosphere. Captain Homer, do you want some attention? How old are you? Give me your age range, Captain Homer. I'm just curious for no reason in particular. No reason in particular. How old are you? I'm going to guess you're under 18. Prove me wrong. But those same conditions without the asteroid are next to impossible at Kung Fu. I don't think we need those same conditions. I mean, years and years and years of carbon monoxide, and like greenhouse gas, like all these things that we're doing, it adds up over time. No meteor, agree, then technically no global warming positioning. I don't know if it was called global warming. Just to be clear, I don't know if what we're talking about with the dinosaurs is actually called or considered global warming. But it was climate change. I'm saying climate change. I'm not saying global warming. Because like, and this is why it changed from global warming. So let's stop using global warming, because that's a very old term. I'm not saying it's offensive or any bullshit. I'm just saying that it's a reductive term. Climate change is the better term because it's more accurate to what the hell is happening. When the asteroid impacted Earth and it shot up that fog cloud, right? The climate changed, did it not? The sun can't get to the Earth as well, or certain things are happening. The climate of the planet did change. It was an external factor. So we can't consider greenhouse gases and what's happening now. They're not the same thing. I think we can all agree on that, right? But both actions are creating some form of climate change, right? Because climate isn't just heating up. Sometimes things get colder. 2 degrees colder in places that shouldn't be 2 degrees colder is detrimental. 2 degrees hotter in certain places that shouldn't be 2 degrees hotter can be detrimental, right? So this is that same issue with like the Democrats and Republicans, where we're trying to take these two scenarios that are vastly different, have some similarities, but we're trying to make one more less than the other in some form or fashion, or we're trying to discredit a concept because of how drastically different this situation is to this situation. Listen, the climate changed either way. This isn't some sort of conspiracy theory. It's just what's happening. If you keep pumping greenhouse gases into an enclosed area, because we have an enclosed area with our ozone in our atmosphere and everything, like it locks in our oxygen. Otherwise our oxygen would just float off, but gravity keeps everything kind of nice and tight, right? And other things. So a nice layer of ozone up there, plus all the gravity, keeps it in. But you can only have so much of that pressure before something happens, right? The sun only lives for so long. That's probably not going to happen in our lifetime, but there's a lot of parameters and things that can affect climate, and our involvement in it as human beings is for sure impacting the planet in some form or fashion. And or even just having cows on a farm can create greenhouse gases that affect the climate, right? That sounds stupid and outlandish and ridiculous, but cows weren't meant to be packed into such tight enclosed areas, right? And maybe this is debunked. Maybe it's, I kind of hope it's wrong, right? But I'm just giving examples that are kind of outlandish that I know of that seem to be factually accurate, and granting that it might not necessarily be true. But yes, climate change, it's not the same, Boshi, because you're tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, right? Yeah, seeing you say that sounds ridiculous, but I'm pretty sure you're right. It sounds ridiculous. But yeah, so when you hear climate change, can you describe to me what that means? Like, you don't have to take into consideration what I just said. Just you tell me what you think climate change means. Because I suspect that you're limiting the concept of climate change because it was originally called global warming. And you're not understanding that there are multiple factors. And maybe you're not dismissing that it's real either way, right? It sounds like you're saying that it's not real. Change versus global warming, not the same. I would agree, Kung Fu. I would agree. It's not the same. Because global warming is just getting warm. Climate change is actually all of the elements, I shouldn't say elements, all of the aspects of our planet, right? So the wind, the temperature could be hotter or colder. It could be cloudier. It could be sunnier. We can have no ozone layer that protects us from the sun, right? Like eating away at our ozone layer makes the sun have a bigger impact on us and can increase cancer rates and things of that nature. Like that's not just bullshit I'm pulling out of my ass. I just want you to understand that. Change could be warming or cooling. Yep, I do it to pass off the idiot deniers. You do what? Change could be warming or cooling. Like you said, the climate is changing, but our actions could or are having an effect. Yeah, the change leads to warming, which is why I said the same saying. Oh, okay. Sorry. Gotcha. Yeah. All right, I'm with you. Dunsford, then it's what you said. Also, because people are so stupid, they'll say on a cold day so much for, yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. I hate that shit. So much for global warming, not realizing that they're talking about the warming of the globe and not your local town. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm a little angry. I'm a little angry. Let me watch this video real quick, and then I gotta get into some gaming. On the YouTube side, I kind of need some input from y'all because I have a gaming channel. It's not big. I just put my live streams and some of my VODs on there. It's just for friends and family who want to catch up on my live streams and stuff like that. But should I keep streaming here? Because I've been starting to shut down my streams for those. But let me get the audio working real fast. Oh, my back.
I thank the gentlelady.
We can keep having a conversation, and we can also keep talking. Yeah, I think I'll keep it up because I want to keep some conversations going for anyone who wants to stay in here. I don't want to make y'all migrate to my gaming or to my Twitch. But if people die down in the YouTube, then I'll just close out the stream for the day and focus on my other ones. We worry about climate change in the West, but India and China don't care. 3 billion humans don't care, so we are in a pickle. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree. We are indeed in a pickle. I'm not a stickler for a pickler. I'm not. Did I start recording already? No. All right, so let's check in on what Linda McMahon is doing with this hearing. We got a video here that I want to check out. It is Linda McMahon trembles as Mark Tucano highlights her incompetence in tense House hearing. Now, I hate these these headliners and things of that nature. I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not. However, I do think that she is a problem. I do think that we need to talk about this character. And I do think that we need to get into this video here. So we're going to watch this and we'll talk to the chat as well. But if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure you guys like and subscribe if you're watching this after the live stream. If you are on YouTube, we also stream live every Sunday from 6:30 to around 10 p.m. The first hours are usually 2 hours are dedicated to gaming. And then, the first 2 hours are dedicated to politics and social talk. Anything social, political, philosophical, we talk about that, and then we get into some gaming. Right now we're doing Resident Evil. That said, let's go. Mr. Wahlberg, Marky Mark.
I recognize the gentleman from California, Mr. Tucano.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to see you again, Madam Secretary. Madam Secretary, I watched the Senate hearings about a week ago. I'm confused about your testimony before the Senate Help Committee. You told Senator Chris Murphy that you were hiring more staff at the Office of Civil Rights. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when Senator Murphy asked you about the firing of half of OCR staff last March, you said that you might have not have done that in hindsight.
I'm sorry, what?
You might not have done that in hindsight. The firings, that is.
Yes, when we came on board, and those RIF notices, were going out. That was
They were going out pursuant not by your order, but by DOJ.
They had started that process before I came on
So
board.
DOJ, and you didn't really, at that moment, oppose at what they were doing. You didn't say stop it because I know that OCR is important.
OCR is important, and now we.
Yeah, but you didn't know that at that moment. They were firing half the staff that you needed at OCR, and it took you 10 months to figure out that that was a mistake.
We have totally revamped our OCR
Madam Secretary,
now, and we
you
are
gave me a little smile. I
bringing
think that little
back.
smile indicated you thought it was a mistake. Madam Secretary.
This is that same pattern of behavior where she's not actually answering the question, right? We've talked about this a lot, so I don't have to dig too deep into this. But just pay attention to. It drives me insane. I don't know who this guy is really. I'll be honest with you, and I don't really care. It's just that accountability seems non-existent. Like people can just lie or lie of omission. You're asked a question, you not answering the question in my eyes is still just you lying. So yeah.
Your department resolved only 112 of the nearly 12,000 pending civil rights complaints in 2025. 112, I'm talking about resolution agreements, not dismissals of cases. Those you could say those are resolutions, but we're talking about resolution agreements that were reached. Only 112 out of the 12,000 pending civil rights complaints. That's 1%, the lowest level of case resolutions in a decade. In 2017, under the first Trump administration, there were 1,299 resolution agreements. And so I think you realize after 10 months that the labor-intensive nature of getting to what I'm talking about, the legally binding contracts, which is what a resolution agreement is, between OCR and the schools that are involved in discrimination cases, that guarantees relief. You arrive at a contract that's labor intensive. Over half of your staff was fired by that DOJ decision, but you didn't stand up to that DOJ decision, did you? You came into office unprepared.
She's not going to answer.
The importance of OCR, did you?
Oh, no, I know the importance of OCR.
Okay, then why did it take you
And that
10
is,
months? Madam Secretary, if you
that
knew
is
the
right.
importance, why did it take you 10 months to figure out and say, hey, I need these people back? In the first Trump administration, 1,200 cases were resolved. And in your first year, only 112. That's a lot of kids out there unprotected by the Secretary of Education.
Kung Fu, you nailed it. You nailed it. Yeah. I saw somebody in the chat that sounded a little bit heated, so let me see if I can read that. I'm not sure if I read that right. So this guy says, are they? In my experience, what happens is people on your side, okay, so you don't know me. People on my side start losing, so they mute and ban and block and hang up and claim they won, and then wonder why no one wants to debate them. So first off, what side am I on? You tell me, what side am I on, good sir? Please tell me that. Yeah. Yeah, buddy. Tell me what side I'm on. Tell me what side I'm on, please. Tell me what side I'm on. You come in here. I don't know who you are. I think you're a first-time chatter. You come in here, and I'm assuming you're reacting to my title. Maybe I'm assuming. I could be wrong. I'm willing to accept that, right? Because I am a good faith person. And you come in here and tell me that I'm on a side. You do exactly what I said earlier, where you just kind of make up stuff. You don't know what side I'm on. I've already said several times my opinion. I'm not going to say it again because I want you to tell me. I want you to do your homework and tell me what side I'm on. So you come in here and tell me that like I'm doing these things, and because of my title, I assume, again, assuming, makes an ass out of you and me. But I don't understand how you can ignore the whole, like, you're talking about they mute and they ban and they block, but why do they mute and they ban and they block? I've watched hours and hours, probably hundreds or thousands of hours of debates at this point. A lot of like conservatives versus left-leaning or independents or versus atheists and Christians. I've watched a lot of debates, and there's a pattern, and I've talked about this because I've watched this pattern of behavior both in debates and in my own personal interactions with MAGA, that y'all don't know how to be honest. You don't know how to think critically. You don't know how to think about things rather than a win-loss perspective. You're trying to avoid giving me what I want when I'm asking you a question. You're making up stories in your head when I respond with words or answer your questions or respond to your question asking for clarity. How can I ask for clarity for something and you just tell me what I thought and you react to that as if that's the response? Like, that's ridiculous, guy. Come on. If you're here, why don't you debate me? You're clearly MAGA, right? Unless you've already left, right? Where you just want to come in here and drop a line, like actually come here and talk to me. You notice the same trend, and that's why my title is that. They come in here, they say something, and they leave. But somehow in their head, they get their little jab in before they leave, and they think that they got me, right? Oh, gee golly willikers, they got me with that one. Like, it's such a weird take, bro. Like, you're so weird. Far right and far left are both guilty of deflection. Absolutely. Banning and blocking. Yeah. They all are. Yeah. I will say, though, in my opinion, a lot of the people on the left that I follow, not all. I think they are guilty of this, but the ones that I follow personally, while I still have some criticisms about like the whole political party issues and how they talk about things, for the most part, they are able to engage with what's being said by the other party and actually shut down their arguments. So more consistently, the people on the left, the people on the left actually have ammunition that they can utilize that is grounded in the real world. Whether they choose to do that or not is a totally different argument. But the people on the right don't have any real justifications. They literally can't be consistent to uphold their worldview. I stand by that, and I need somebody to prove me wrong.
As a matter of fact, it cost taxpayers $38 million to pay for these OCR employees that you put on administrative leave for 10 months, or you failed to say, bring them back. You didn't rescind this decision until 10 months later.
Please understand that these are people that got fired and can't make money now, and they don't know if they're going to get hired back or not. So they're in this like, will they, won't they situation. These are people's lives that are being affected.
You know, you told senators that you were bringing back staff.
And that's fair. And I can argue that to my face is blue. I can give you tons of examples of how that's the case. If you get me in front of a MAGA person, I will fully concede that if they actually are good faith and are still a Trump supporter by the time they're done talking to me.
So you are bringing back staff, right?
Yes, we are rehiring attorneys, and we have already addressed now 4,000 of cases at OCR because during the Trump
Madam Secretary,
administration,
those resolved 4,000 cases are not resolution agreements, are they?
part of them are.
Only 112 this past year.
Well, in the
It's
last,
a lot different than 4,000. You're trying to confuse the matter. 4,000, you're talking maybe dismissals, case dismissals.
well, in total, we have addressed 4,000
Okay, let's get
cases.
back to it's 112.
Well,
Madam Secretary.
I'll tell you one of the reasons we
Madam
were-
Secretary, here's my thing. The president budget, you know, there's the whole thing with Chris Murphy is
It's crazy.
are you disagreeing with the president? You're here to testify on the budget. Are you disagreeing with the president's budget, which cuts OCR even more?
The budget that we submitted is a
It cuts
floor.
OCR even more, doesn't it?
It is a floor for hiring. We want to increase those numbers, but we
The
submitted
president's budget cuts OCR even more, doesn't it?
It is a reduced amount for it because it is a floor of hiring.
Madam
not
Secretary,
where we
I'll ask you the
want it to be.
question again. Does the president's budget raise the budget for OCR?
I don't know how these
even,
people
or
can
does
just
it
say this with
lower
a straight
the
face
budget
and
for
not think that they're
OCR
doing
staff?
anything
I'll
like
repeat
more
what I
wrong.
said. It
Madam
is a
Secretary, you had a
floor of
week
hiring.
since the Senate Help Committee hearing to figure this out from when your question with Senator Murphy. You couldn't answer his question. I'm asking you a similar question. Is the president's budget you're submitting, have they lowered the FTEs for OCR staff?
I
How's
just
that?
answered that, but you must.
No,
have
you
been
did
listening.
not. You're not answering the
won't
question.
let- well,
Is it lowered? Look, madam, I have the budget right here. The budget says they're cutting the FTEs. Are you disagreeing with this?
Gentleman's time has
Are you going to
expired.
allow me to answer?
The
The minute I
haven't
tried to
answered
answer,
yet.
you cut me
A
off.
simple question, Madam
See?
Secretary.
You're doing it again.
Well, the
We
gentleman's
are-
time has expired.
How can she?
Pronounce
Senator Murphy?
How can, shut up. How can she sit there and accuse somebody else of what she's doing? Like, it breaks my brain. It breaks my brain. You said too far left is communism? I don't know if I agree with that. You know, how do you know when a government goes too far left? They use identity politics. This goes for anywhere in the world in any time in history. What are you talking about? I don't think I agree with that. I don't, yeah, gaslighting in for sure from that lady, from Linda McMahon. Gaslighting from Linda McMahon is insane. I don't know what else to really add on to that. It's ridiculous how these people don't actually answer questions and then try to act like they're the ones with the high ground or they're the ones with the moral justification. But again, if you're watching this on the YouTube side, make sure you guys do like, share, and subscribe on this video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. For the live chat though, in a second, I'm going to go get my controller. I'm going to go get some more water as well. Freshen up and get my gaming. God damn. Sorry. I gotta hook this up. Oh, how's this work? Doesn't work that way. I'm gonna have to mute this so that you guys don't get your eardrums blown out. Mouse China. Shotgun, what are you saying though? I'm trying to get a better understanding of what you're saying. There we go. I got it. Perfect. All I think the term identity identity politics makes it very broad. I don't. I think that identity politics is something that is very nuanced, and depending on how broadly you're saying that, I don't think I can agree with you. Well, I do agree that they leverage it, right? I do agree that they leverage identity politics. So you're not. I don't think I necessarily disagree with what you're saying. It's just that the way that you're communicating it to me makes it seem like any concept, like if somebody who's trans is trying to fight for their own like voice or like rights, then anything that supports that is inherently like too far left or is identity politics and therefore is like a scam or something, right? Or if you're talking about, you know, black people, right? Black people have been tokenized and leveraged and used for political gain, but like our demand for freedom is a real thing. So it you know, just reading it off of text, I don't know how you're coming at this. That's just one part of the equation from super left leaning. Yeah, right. It is what, yeah, exactly. It's only one aspect of it that is utilized, but maybe you're not saying this, but it almost feels like anything that has identity politics is almost dismissed because it is too far left. Yeah, I was going to say too far left is more socialism, not necessarily communism. They're not the same thing. Identity politics is just a tool to garner support for the dummies in their base. Yeah, well, but here's the thing, though. Identity politics is a real thing. Like black people wanting to vote and wanting the rights to vote are a thing. But them being used as a tool by politicians is also a real thing, where they didn't get the best deal they could have gotten because it was more important for politicians to get more out of it or get the best out of it that they can. It's a very generalized statement, but I think based off of history, the way that things have happened, the way that things have regressed, like how gerrymandering can still be a thing right now, you know, that's like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Demographics have wants and needs. Yeah, demographics have wants and needs. They have those rights. It's a hustle now. I'm not sure what you mean. Yes, I'm speaking of the government using it to mark negative people. What in the fuck? To mark negative people. Okay, so like black people are bad or gay or bad or stuff like that. You're saying that they do that sort of thing? If so, then yeah, I would say they do, right? Absolutely. I think it is ridiculous. Only 3/5 at the time. Why don't I see that on the chat? Oh yeah. See, yeah, 3/5. Yeah, the 3/5 compromise. It killed millions. It killed millions here in the United States too. Wait, what? It killed. Wait, yes, I'm speaking of the government using it to mark negative people. It killed millions in China and Russia. Yeah, it killed. Yeah, both. All of those are true. All of those are true. And it's like, and this is the crappy part, because I believe that instead of arguing with each other, we should be arguing with the government. But the thing is, and why I have my thing titled this way is because that the MAGA group are, the MAGA group is they are an extension of this danger, in my opinion, because they are going to be the people who justify us doing, like us as an Americans doing atrocities to our own people and to other people. They are those people already. I'm saying they will be, but they already are, right? Like, I'm not being hyperbolic. When people get shot in the back, they're held down by like 6 cops and their weapon is already taken away and they're already bear sprayed and they're being punched and somehow they get shot in the back like 9 times. Or someone is clearly not going to kill you with their car and they're turning out of the way and you get in front of it and you have your camera phone out and like, that's not proper procedure. And somehow that justifies you to shoot somebody right in the damn face and then not get in trouble for it and not have to identify yourself and not be put to court or any sort of thing like that. I don't know if those people have been punished yet. Honestly, they might have been like put on administrative leave, but I don't know if those people are actually in trouble by any means. So like, you know, all the immigrants that we are deporting like very terribly, all that kind of stuff. Those are the people that are justifying it. So the MAGA is complicit in the violence already, in my opinion. Not communism government. I confused myself. Okay. Not okay. Confuse yourself. MAGA is an anti-identity politics. They claim to be, they platform anti-identity politics, but they are exactly identity politics. Otherwise, they wouldn't wear those fucking red hats all the time. They are the epitome of identity politics. They absolutely are. And they think they have the right to judge us just as much as we judge them. Even when they're in the, like, they're this morally in the wrong, like in multiple angles. I mean, you guys are so generic and just saying the same crap. Why would you go to multiple live debates, multiple lives to debate people like you guys? Oh, haven't I seen you before, Dram? Cram. MAGA has an identity politic baked in, white identity and supremacy at that. Yeah, where do you disagree, Boshi? Let me know, because I think I'm in agreement in that sense that they are identity politics and the white supremacy and Christian conservativity is a part of it. MAGA is just common sense people. Oh, nah, hard disagree. MAGA is not judging based on identity. What are you talking about, bro? What? Huh? What?
What did he say?
What did you say, sir? I'm sorry. How are they not? How are they not? Tell me, don't just tell me that I'm wrong. Like they've said these things multiple times and they have these, like, I hate to use the term dog whistle. There's so much that I have to dig in to get into like that topic to more depth. I'm kind of exhausted. How are they? Should we go look at Project 2025? Should we look at how Trump talks about other countries, people of color, how he is somebody who literally was doing redlining back in like the 70s and 80s, and people supported that, how they are redrawing districts and taking away the black vote, how they endorse replacement theory, I don't see how you don't see that. I absolutely think no, of course they're going to have people in them, like anybody that is useful to their cause they're going to have in there, like Kash Patel for a good example. Like he's of Middle Eastern descent of some sort, right? They have a token Middle Eastern guy doing their bidding who is just as unqualified as the rest of them, as RFK and Linda McMahon and all these people. He's just as unqualified as them. So I mean, you know, he's being fair a little bit, but like that, he just serves a purpose, honestly. Maybe it's Maybelline. That's an identity defined in politics. It's not as simple as nothing or unimportant. I'm not sure I follow. Don't you identify with being an American first and foremost? Do I? A Black American, maybe. But I'll be honest, I haven't been treated like an American for most of my life. I've been treated like a Black American. So I don't know if I fully understand your question, though, if you want to clarify that. Because I'm also Jamaican. I'm first generation on my dad's side. Identity politics is an identity that is assigned to you as a citizen by your government, and you can't change it. Identity. What do you mean? Identity politics is an identity that is assigned to you as a citizen. I might have to look up identity politics because I'm not sure if I have the right take on that. That's an identity defined in politics. It's not a symbol. Oh, okay. Democrats started that to get more seats. I wish you guys were here for some of my earlier streams when I covered some of this Jim Crow era shit. Yeah, it's still Middle Eastern. I was pretty certain he was Indian. His last name is Patel. I'm part Indian, by the way. So like, I'm not trying to generalize, but I'm not trying to be insensitive. I just wanted to generalize because I couldn't remember for sure. Sorry, I talk directly with chat 100% of the time. Oh, okay. Yeah. I started putting them together, Draco Jean. Draco Malfoy. Once the government puts you in identity class, they can imprison you and take your assets. Well, once they label that identity as criminal, or once they are able to justify mistreating that identity, I would agree with you. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Yeah. I'm like 10% Scottish or 5% Scottish. I have to go get a test to tell you for sure. Cause like my grandpa was like a half Scottish. So I'd be like a 16th Scottish. Check with Grok on Stalin's Russia and Mao's China. You need to recognize. Did you just say check? Okay. I can't take anything you're saying serious because you just said check with Grok. The blood is not identity, like we were speaking. Not sure if I got that one. You're 60% Irish 100% of the time. I mean, your last name, your name is Murphy. So I guess you gotta be some Irish for sure. All right. Let me take a quick break here. I just want to go stretch up my legs, say goodnight to the family. I heard him just come home a little bit ago, so I want to go say goodnight to them. And then I got to grab my controller from upstairs as well, so that we can play some Resident Evil. I need to create a soundboard for that because I'm gonna be playing a lot of Resident Evils. Idea. I'm remembering that for later. But yeah. So that said, I'm still down to talk about politics after I get back and start gaming. But if you guys got to go or you don't want to stick around, that's fine. I was hoping that like there was a lot of MAGA people that hopped in here and like they're talking all that shit. But you see my prompt. You see the name of the stream, and I've not had anybody challenge me to debate, but they want to share their opinion. And it's like, you know what? I'm fine with people. Oh, hold on. I'm fine with people having their opinion. Clearly, like we have a wide range of opinions here, and I don't think I hate anybody in the chat right now. There's a few people that I told them how I feel, but I don't hate anybody. I don't necessarily think anybody's evil yet because I haven't got to know them yet. But like the people who come in here and like, yeah, the maggots, a lot of maggots, you know, they want to come in here and they want to kind of talk, but some will do it incognito. They won't tell you they're MAGA. Some will pretend like they're your friend. But none of them will try to actually get in a voice call live on air and try to actually have a conversation with me about this. Because my generalization of MAGA is that all MAGA people who are still MAGA now are delusional. And they have to maintain that delusion by lying, escaping the truth, avoiding answering questions, assuming straw manning, and all those sort of things. I don't think it's always malicious. I think sometimes it's just they can't help it because that's how they were raised, or because they don't have the faculties to do it because they're very religious and they haven't thought about thinking critically on their own. And so I will close this part of the stream by saying that I strongly believe that people who support Donald Trump, MAGA, all of that stuff, whether they're actually MAGA or not, anybody who is okay with what our government is doing right now, left or right leaning, but primarily President Trump's cabinet or administration, they are a threat to the world, not just America. That's incredibly hyperbolic, but it's incredibly literal as well. I'm being very literal about this, and I want to hammer that home because yeah. So Boshi, actually get on a voice call with me then. Like talk to me about it and try to actually back up, because I'm telling you that I think that he is a white supremacist, whether he actually practices it and wears a hood or not. I think that the people that vote for him are still those things. And so like I think we had some good exchanges, but I stand on business when I say this, that anybody who's telling me that they support Trump, I'm telling you that whether you realize it or not, want to accept it or not, you're actually advocating for the death or the danger of other people. Like there's a multitude of things, but I think the most urgent thing, right, is the discrimination and the violence against people. And I don't even want to talk about internationally. I want to talk about domestically. You keep saying he poops his pants. I can't confirm that. I've never heard that before. I'm not gonna confirm that. Bro, they live in a fantasy world where gas prices are cheap. Have you seen my Facebook post? Oh yeah, I showed it earlier. Duh, I'm stupid. Women's sports are saved, even though they don't watch women's sports and they have zero immigration. Yeah, that's funny. That's good. Maybe one day I am a terrible talker. Look, man, you seem like a cool guy. And so this is why I'm saying, like, that's why I said I don't think all the people that do this are malicious, but I think I would wager, and I'm fine with you proving me, like, I want to be proven wrong. I want to be the crazy person in this scenario. Understand that. But I think there is a part of you that is not being consistent. Like, you're being hypocritical about how you think about the world. If you support Trump, you have to either be ignoring some really valid points that are right in your face, or you have to be doing something that a lot of religious people do, where you just believe what you want to believe because you have that muscle to believe whatever you want to believe, and you can ignore and justify everything else. But you're not being fair in distributing your observations and your scrutiny evenly amongst all the information. I stand by that, and I want you to prove me wrong one day on that, because I think that you are supporting something incredibly dangerous. And I'm the reason why I'm here talking right now to Trump supporters, the reason why I want to debate them is because I want to avoid a violent ending to all of this, right? Not because of me, but because of everybody else that's going to go crazy. I am not someone who wanted to do this stuff, but I see what's happening and nobody's saying what I'm saying. So I got to talk about this stuff. Cognitive dissonance is a thing for sure. And I'm not a Democrat. I'm willing to abolish the Democratic Party. So when you come to debate me, you can't come with this Joe Biden, Obama bullshit, because I'll be right there with you criticizing them if I need to. I'll grant all the points that you have about the Democrats, and I will still tear down your argument as to why Donald Trump is anything but a shitty human person. Like, God damn, dude. I cannot emphasize how dangerous what you're supporting is. I cannot say that enough. I would be an irresponsible human being if I didn't say what I was saying right now to the fullest extent, that you are supporting something incredibly dangerous. And the reason why I want to talk to you and people like you is because I want to stop you from doing that. Because like I said to somebody else that I had to block a while back, who was a pretty chill dude for the most part, I blocked him because when I was talking to him, he kept justifying things and ignoring things. And when I helped him see reason, it was the dumbest low effort example that I could give him, where all I did was put him in the shoes of somebody else. And he considered it, came back to the chat and was like, I didn't think about it that way. Like, ridiculous. Like, I told him, what I told him was, you are the reason why the Nazis got as far as they did. And right now, Boshi, I am warning you. I am the canary in the coal mine for you specifically. You are going to be the reason why these future Nazis of America exist and get as far as they do. Because eventually they were stopped. But they weren't stopped soon enough. And saying anything less than that would be irresponsible of me, because I see that outcome coming. I'm not some sort of mind reader or premonition or anything like that. It's just writing on the wall. And I don't think you understand how detrimental this is to our society, how detrimental it already is, let alone how much worse it can get. Okay. So as someone who's talked to you, and I understand that you disagree. But that's the thing. This is the important part. I'm not telling you, I'm not saying these things for you to disagree. I'm saying these things to you so that you consider them. But what you did just now proves my point. Instead of considering, because you could not have considered everything I just said in a matter of the minutes I just said them, you did not put in that work to consider that. Maybe you could argue that you already put in that work because somebody else already brought it to your attention. I don't think so. I want you to come back to me another day and tell me how I'm wrong. Don't say you disagree, because you saying you disagree just says to me that I don't like that definition or I don't like that description, so I'm going to reject it. But there's no logic behind what you just said. And I'm saying this with love in my heart for people and mankind, that what you're supporting is horrible. It is horrible. Yes, we can look to other countries and other presidents or other leaders, but this isn't a comparison. If you're a serial killer and you're over here trying to justify your serial killing because it's like, oh, look, that person killed 20 people, now only killed 10. Motherfucker, people are still dying. I don't care. This isn't a dick measuring competition. So anyways, I digress. I don't want to explain now when you are going to end the live. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not ending the live. I'm just going to take a quick break. I'm not cutting the stream. I'm just going to take a quick break. I'm going to boot up my gaming YouTube too. And then we're going to get into some gaming and I can still have some conversations. But I truly want you to take at least a day to consider this, to think about what I just said. You don't know this probably, but I'm a coach. I coach a lot of competitive games like esports and shit. I've done it for years. And then I was a life coach before that, and I went to school for this. Have a good night, Murphy. Thank you for stopping by. I'm saying that to help you understand that part of coaching is getting people from point A to point B. And that's been my job for years to some extent. So when I'm saying these things, it's coming from somebody who has seen somebody's pattern of behavior and understood where they're going and had to help them get to somewhere else. Okay. And all I'm trying to do is help you see Donald Trump from an objective point of view. Right now, you're subjective. I'm trying to move you to being objective, because if you are willing to be objective, you will see on your own without me having to tell you everything we talked about earlier. But that said, let me take a break. I'll be right back, y'all. Then we're gonna get some Resident Evil 0 and continue the conversation. If you are heading out, thank you guys so much for the conversation. This has been great. I really appreciate it. No hard feelings, but I am someone who is incredibly honest 100% of the time, unless there's a sale on the deal or a sale on the table. And that's not happening on a Twitch stream. So thank you guys, and I will be right back after a short break. Bye-bye. My chess is trash. My chess is trash. I need to learn more chess. God damn it. I got to get more into chess. Me and my friends played chess on this game called Outlast Trials. There's a chess game, mini game inside of it. It's a full chess game. And man, there are some times where I just spend hours just playing chess, and like, oh boy, damn, being indeed. I need to be, I could talk about that for a while. All right, I'll be back. What'd I miss? Where's the line with dummy liberals? Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no. Somebody's another mad MAGA man. Oh boy.